you think we're in for further trouble on the economic front?
I think that what's important is that you've got the United States, you've got Europe, and you've got Africa, and there's no question there's a lag. The United States is kind of the primary source, then it knocks on effect to Europe, and then most definitely Africa, South Africa would get affected last. So as much as some people are saying the green shoots are starting to show in Europe and in America, I'm a little bit pessimistic in the sense that I think South Africa is not seeing those green shoots yet, and I think we're still in for a difficult time over the next year to 18 months.
Craig, you've been centre to changing the face of the South African telecommunications landscape, and I refer to you taking on the late Communications Minister, Dr. Ivy Matsepe-Cassaburi, in the courts, August 2008. You won that case to build an infrastructure network. How did that feel? And a big challenge to take on government.
Yeah, a big challenge and something that wasn't very easy, and not easy for my board or for myself as CEO, because the minister was widely respected, and let's be frank, I think she's done a fantastic job in the past. Unfortunately, she passed away recently, as you know, but at the time, a year ago or a year and a half ago, when we had this challenge and we had to look at fighting it, it was more of a principal issue as opposed to an issue that was going to benefit Altech. As you can see, we haven't built a national network as Altech, even though we've got the license now, which we won through the legal process. But I think what is important is that the ICT sector in South Africa needs to grow. The ICT sector needs to contribute to the GDP growth of the country. And GDP growth, generally ICT can be as much as 2% of GDP. And in South Africa, with some of the principles that were being followed at that point in time, in a non-liberalized telecoms market, that's not good for the country, it's not good for GDP, it's not good for employment, and it needs to liberalize and open up quicker so that there's more opportunity for the smaller players in the market and that the monopolies of the past get broken down. So I think that Altech took a lead. I think that it was the right thing to do at the time. Again, it was more principle issue based as opposed to how can we better line Altech's pockets? Let's just do the right thing for the country. And I'm glad to say that, yes, the liberalisation has speeded up since we won that court case. Are we there yet? No.
Are you going to do anything with that license, the infrastructure license?
We potentially, at this point, we haven't done anything with it in terms of building a national network. But in a more liberalised market and environment, telecoms environment, we might use the license, yes, to do certain things within gated communities or within various different niche areas of the broadband telecoms kind of space. But would we build a national network at the cost of 2 billion rand to compete against major players like Vodafone and Neotel, MTN, and I can go on and on, Telkom? I personally believe that it might not be the best investment that Altech could make. But will we get involved and use the license in niche areas? Yes, we will, and I think we'd get a better return by doing that.
The next 10 years for Craig Venter, what are the targets that you've got lined up?
It's a difficult question. I mean, again, I know it's to a large extent a business interview, but at the same time, I've got some personal goals. Trying to prove myself not only to maybe my father and the outside world that generally I can do a good job. With that, you dedicate most of your time to your work, and you end up not having a very good balance between your personal life and your business life. And I only got married last year. I've only been married for a year.
Well, congratulations.
So thank you. So I think you find that you become almost consumed within this business environment of success and hard work, and yes, that's very important, but it's also very important to have a good balance in your life. And I've tried to learn that, and I think I'm in the stage now that in the next 10 years I'd like to have a family. I'd like to have a very happy, good family. I'd like to have a better balance in my life. I'd like to make sure that I dedicate the time to the personal side as well. I think that I'd like to see Altech at the same time flourishing to the point that I'd like to double our turnover. I mean, we need to be a 20 billion rand company, which I think we will do. I definitely do. I think we'll be much more global, and I think our share price will be a lot higher. So those are some of the targets that I have. I think they're probably attainable, and I must say I've given them a lot of thought in terms of how I'd like to achieve certain things, and hopefully we can look back in 10 years and say, well, maybe I have achieved those things.
Craig, thanks very much. You've been watching Captains of Industry, and we've been speaking to the CEO of Altech, Craig Venter.